Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week. Today we're navigating advertising and the restrictions for the gambling industry with a special guest, Sergey Shchelkov, one of the sales executives at EPOM. Sergey, nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure talking to you, Zoltan. Thank you for having me. My name is Sergey. I'm the sales executive at EPOM, which is a technology company. We have an ad server that helps hundreds of our clients work with ads, with advertising, and it allows you to serve the ads, to track them, optimize, and manage everything that you have.
All right. So the topic, as I mentioned, is navigating advertising vertical restrictions for the gambling industry, not just survive, but thrive. So the topics today aims to delve into the challenges that betting companies are facing, and mainly when dealing with the absence of support from platforms like Google, because we all know their support stinks. So we explore the strategies and insights that allow these companies to survive and thrive in such a restrictive environment with the help of ad tech solutions. So we have some main points of discussions today, but I will dive into the questions directly with Sergey. So, Sergey, can you describe some of the most common challenges that the betting companies encounter when navigating advertising vertical restrictions?
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk about that. The restrictions are there because something that the policy that applies to betting companies should be harsher than the policies applied to other verticals. So they restrict the betting companies in various ways. For example, age restrictions and targeting. A lot of countries have specific age restrictions for gambling and betting activities. And so betting companies must overcome this in order to prevent their ads reaching underage audiences. Right? You have to do careful targeting and verification age processes to ensure that the ads appeal specifically to the age group that they are allowed to appeal to. On top of that, you have what we call cross-border advertising. The betting companies have online presence all over the world, right? But not all countries have the same regulations about betting. So you have to make sure that your ads are compliant specifically with the legislative regulations for each specific region that you operate in. And then, of course, there's the policy of the advertising platforms, which you use to actually show the ads and to buy traffic. And platforms like Google or Facebook and others, they have their own policies and restrictions. And they are pretty harsh, I would say. So, of course, if you want to play by the rules, if you want to use those platforms to promote yourselves, you have to adhere to those guidelines. And these restrictions may be on ad formats, on specific keywords, for example, and of course, as I mentioned before, both the age restrictions and geo restrictions. So there's a lot to take in if you were to talk about how betting companies should act, should behave.
All right. So the main topics on the menu also include the in-house versus third-party media buying, and if companies really need a powerful in-house media buying team, or do they want to outsource that? Or maybe we will also talk about how to evaluate the ad tech solutions and what alternative advertising channels and platforms do betting companies leverage to reach their target audiences effectively. But also just maybe you can share some more information about EPOM so our listeners know more about your platform.
Sure. Yeah. We are a an ad company. We're a technology ad company. We've been on the market for about 12 years now, I think. And we started with providing our solution, our ad server, to publishers only. But then, of course, over time, we grew and we offer everything to everyone, right? We also have a programmatic module that allows you to do real-time bidding. And we support all type of ad formats, including native and over 50 different rich media formats. And we have presence on all continents, of course. We have over 140, I think, billion impressions served monthly. We have over 300 clients, and everybody's super happy with us. The ad server is a complex solution, and you need a lot of support and a lot of management, good management, to help you do this correctly. But if you have that, and of course you can get that with EPOM, then you're going to be set for ages with the best possible solution to make sure that your business is thriving.
All right. So you guys are only active in the gambling industry?
No, not really. Actually, we're not geared towards a specific industry. It just so happens that we have a lot of clients from gambling and from betting, because they do need a powerful ad server. Because as we just talked, there are a lot of challenges that you have to solve when serving ads, and also there's this question of in-house team versus outsourcing media buy. It's a tricky question to answer, but in any scenario, pretty much you would need an ad server. You would need a powerful ad server to make sure that you have all the data you need, that you have all the controls and all the transparency you need to make sure that your ads reach the correct goal, reach the correct goals and audience, and make sure that you're not just throwing money away. You have to have performance, and for that you need a tool that allows you to not only serve the ads but also track them and make sure that the performance is being reached, whatever goal performance is for you specifically.
All right. So circling back to the big G, to Google. Mm-hmm. So how does the absence of support from major platforms such as Google impact your advertising strategies, and how did you adapt in the times?
Well, for us, it's not really that big of a question, because we are a platform, but when we're talking to the customers of ours that come to us and are looking for a different platform, they say that it significantly impacts them and their strategies, because Google and Facebook and all the others, they have immense reach. Everybody wants to go on Google because it's the safest and it's the easiest place to get traffic from, right? You just place an ad and immediately you reach millions of hundreds of millions of people all over the world. So if Google restricts you, it significantly hinders your ability to deliver ads in an easy and fast way. Because when previously you would have to just upload an image, choose targeting, and then just run this ad. In this case, like if Google applies these restrictions, you need to find something else. You need to find how to overcome this, because you're at a loss compared to, of course, other verticals that don't have such restrictions. But also, if it's your first rodeo, you would just think that, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna have a betting service. I'm gonna go to Google. I'm gonna advertise myself. But then, you start your service, you go to Google, and you're like, it doesn't work. Like, what should I do? And you're at a loss compared to other players in the industry that already figured this out. So yeah, not having Google is significantly impactful, I would say, for betting industry.
All right. So in-house versus third-party media buying. What are the pros and cons of each? And can betting companies realistically survive with just one or the other?
Yeah. So it's a tricky question, because there are a lot of examples right now for both, for the in-house media buying approach and for third-party media buying approach. So for in-house, you have full control over what you do. You have full customization, because you have all of it in-house. Like, your designers can draw something and then go to your media buying team and work in unison to make sure that the creatives that are the best performing are there. Plus, you have all access to data and performance metrics. You can change things on the go. And most importantly, I think, is it's your company. You know what works specifically for your brand, and you're able to react on that really swiftly. Plus, of course, you spend less than you would if you were to work through a third party, because they take their own cut for everything you spend. On the other hand, you do need to hire and train people before they get on board, and there's a learning curve that's associated with that. So I would say the in-house media buying is definitely something to aim towards, because you keep everything in-house, and it's your brand, and you have full power and full control, and do whatever you want to do and do what works. Yeah. But at the same time, from the third-party media buying, they have a lot of expertise because they've been doing this for ages. They can scale faster because they have a lot of workforce and a lot of resources to do that, and they don't have such a significant learning curve. Again, because they're very well versed with this. But it does come with a cost, because they would take a portion of your money that you would just spend on more media. You have limited control. You have not as much transparency. So it's a tricky question, but I would lean towards in-house media buying, actually.
All right. So there's no hybrid options, because that would be a disaster.
Yeah. So it would be hard. Like, how would you explain to your team that you're outsourcing a portion of their work? Plus, you would have to teach your own media team with one tasks, and then go to third-party media buying with different tasks. Yeah, it probably would be not bad. We do see a lot of our clients moving on to in-house lately, actually, because they want to keep everything in the same place. Plus, machine learning and business intelligence tools are getting big. So the more data your company has, the better things you can build, and the better you can build towards performance. So that's another key issue that allows the clients to take it in-house.
All right, so there are different ad tech solutions out there. So maybe can you share some key metrics or indicators to consider when evaluating different ad tech solutions for betting companies?
Sure, yeah. I would say that flexibility and customization are extremely important, because betting is, and among others, of course, it's a very rapidly changing environment. And you have to be able to adapt very quickly. So if, let's say the same, Google, you tell them you need a new ad format, I don't think they're gonna tell you, okay, we're gonna do it like quickly, if at all. So you need somebody that's able to confirm to that as well. And of course, you need incredible customer support, because there are a lot of challenges, as betting is, again, it's rapidly evolving. So some sites are, for example, not ready to implement some incredible new designs or new ad formats. So there needs to be a customer support that's ready to help you. Plus, the solution itself is pretty complex, because it allows you to do a lot of different things, but it does require you to pour some time into it to ensure that you know everything. And for that, again, customer support is invaluable. And of course, the ROI has to be up there. You need to spend, of course, less than what you earn, and that percentage should be, very good for you, so that you don't pay like 20% of what you earn towards the ad server. That just wouldn't make any sense. I would say aim towards maybe 5% to 10% is a max, but yeah, somewhere about 5 to 7% from what you earn is a good fee for technology, because it allows you to grow and allows you to earn more, but you don't want to go overboard with your fees, of course.
All right. So as you mentioned, there are some restrictions when doing advertising in different jurisdictions. So what are some of the alternative advertising channels that betting companies can leverage on to bypass traditional restrictions? Is this affiliate marketing or influencer marketing? What are the alternatives?
Yeah, actually, affiliate influencer marketing is there. Event and other shows participation. I'm going to talk about that, I think, in one of our further questions. But just straight up channels are, I would say, native advertising,
Mhm.
where an ad doesn't look like it's an ad; it was just content. Affiliate marketing, of course, because affiliation can bring you tons of valuable data. But I mean, all the betting customers are doing it, so they know that affiliate works. And programmatic, actually, programmatic allows you to uh, automate buying and placing ads in a data-driven format and a data-driven way. So this becomes an effective way to bypass traditional restrictions, even though you're going to be still, of course, maintaining compliance. But yeah, programmatic is another thing that is rising rapidly right now.
All right. So can you provide examples of creative or innovative ad strategies that have proven effective in these restrictive environments?
That is actually an interesting and a bit tricky question. I know that there are um, multiple ways how all the betting companies are trying to solve this. There's a way where first you kind of like warm up the audience by not actually showing an ad, but by preparing an ad to be shown. Some mysterious or tricky or hidden messages inside of the ad units. So that works well. Plus all the intricate reach media units, maybe various units on the same page that interact with each other, or of course, HTML5 banners that allow you to actually kind of like place a bet inside of a banner and see your payout, right? So as long as it's engaging, as long as it's out of the norm and it's not generic, you will definitely get more success compared to if it's just a standard banner says place your bet here, and that's it.
All right. So there's another trick question for you now. So
Yeah.
how do you ensure that compliance with various international laws and regulations while trying to advertise across multiple jurisdictions?
Well, from our side, again, we are a technology platform, so we we of course know all the rules and we abide by them, but it's responsibility for this actually lies on everyone, on both the publishers being able to pass the information that this user is okay, that you can bet on them with betting ads, and of course the advertisers themselves to make sure that their ads are actually applicable and that they are compliant with the regulations of where they're running it on. And some advertisers, they want to get cheeky and they want to bypass the rules. So they're like, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do this fast. I'm going to earn a lot of money and I don't care what comes next. But it really doesn't work. So they try to not overcome actually, but just bypass and ignore the rules. They place the ads where they cannot, or the ads are not compliant with the regulations, and it doesn't work in the long run because it's your reputation that is in shambles after that, and nobody want to work with you because how can you work with someone that did this? So it's much better to adhere to the regulations and conform to them, and take your creativity elsewhere into, let's say, ad units and ad formats.
All right. So since you mentioned earlier events, we had an interesting case at one of our conferences where we had a main stage sponsor, a slots provider. I will not name the company. I will not name the conference, but they were advertising one of their latest slots games, and it was strange that in that country, as a provider, you cannot advertise your games. And neither do operators they can only advertise themselves, not games. So there was this problem at the conference because their banner was a huge banner with the game, and this is like compliance everywhere, but sometimes it's stupid because this was a conference where it was a B2B conference where there were no like players coming to the conference, just lawyers and other providers. So it was very crazy. So coming back, is there a role for partnerships or sponsorships in navigating these restrictions? And if so, what kind of partnerships have you found most effective?
Of course, that's a very big portion of how the brands can advertise themselves on top of region standard media. So you have what do you call, like, branding inclusion into
Yeah.
apps and into games, right? So where just a portion of a different, like a game is being sponsored by, your certain brand. So everybody knows that, people that are playing games on their mobile phones or on their consoles or on computers, they oftentimes are, they like to win. So and like to play. So, sponsoring a portion of a game, let's say on mobile, wouldn't cost you trillions of dollars, but it's a good way to get your name out there. So the person that are engaged can then, when your name comes up, or specifically if you're sponsoring a portion of a sports game, like that's a very good thing to do because, because of the obvious connection between the player and their desire to bet, probably. The second best thing, or the first best thing, if you look at the amount of companies that they do, is sports team and event sports sponsorships, right? So a lot of teams in the world are being sponsored by betting companies. You have Premier League, where all of the clubs, like I think last year or the year before that, almost all the clubs had been affiliated with a betting company one way or another because it works for both of them. Betting company gets their own coverage. They're being shown everywhere. People that support a specific team will probably support that betting partner. Well, for the most part, of course, and it makes a ton of money for the teams as well. And the same with events, of course. It's like, again, that's a direct connection. The same with summer sports. A lot of people place bets on cyber sport events. So, sponsoring a certain event would definitely be feasible. And of course, influencers, partnerships, and specific sportswomen partnerships work great as well because people adore influencers and specific personas from sports, and seeing them advertise a certain brand would definitely go a very, very long way towards bringing you additional customers.
All right. So basically, we're talking about ambassadors of brands and stuff like that, former like soccer players, or yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, as final question would be, as the advertising landscape for betting companies continues to evolve rapidly, especially with the help of AI and machine learning, what upcoming trends or shifts should companies prepare for?
There are a lot to cover, actually. This is a good question. I do believe that the compliance regulations are going to become stricter because this is something that is inevitably coming for all of us. Like that's just the trend, the dynamic that the regulatory bodies would like everyone to play on the same field. They want to level this field and they want to hold it to higher standards so that people don't get drowned in those kinds of ads. So they will definitely enforce stronger compliance. Plus, we see with GDPR, with the California Act, a lot of data has to be protected, and that is essentially an additional thing that the companies will be aiming towards to make sure that they're respecting the user's privacy rights, but at the same time still trying to serve an ad. That will become harsher as well. And about the involvement, Reach Media Support is going to go further and further ahead because, as I mentioned, it's engaging, it's interactive, it's fun, it's interesting. And EPOM, on our side, we have a lot of ad formats. As I mentioned, over 50 of them. Plus, where we can build any additional ad formats that users have an idea. They come to us and say, I just had a dream that this is the ad unit that I want to make, and we help them do it. And they actually gain a market advantage because nobody else had that. Nobody else had the dream that they did. So the diversification of ad formats is definitely coming on. It's going to shift away from standard banners. It's going to cover video native and programmatic and audio ads. So everything that helps you stand out of a crowded market. Bringing audio ads, voice search is going to be there, and smart devices, they're going to take a whole different approach to ads as well, because a lot of people use voice search, they use Alexa, they use Siri, they use everything else they can that they are accustomed to, and building an ad into that, a betting ad into, for example, you asking Siri, how did it happen that Manchester United lost to Bayern last night, and getting an answer completely coupled with the ability to place a bet on your team, like for the next leg. That's definitely something that could come in the future. And of course, changing to both mobile first approach and global market expansion, because mobile, for years now, it has been growing, and it will in the future, because it's much easier to use your phone than your computer. And of course, global market expansion. Previously, the betting was limited only to a certain, official betting was limited to a handful of countries. Now it's covering the whole world. And of course, when you reach countries like India or China or the other fast-growing countries that have that are rapidly growing, they have a lot of money, and of course, as everybody else, they're interested in the betting industry. You have to make sure that you are not only compliant, but you have all the capabilities like geo-targeting. Again, we have an EPOM that allows you to target a certain city. So you need to be able to catch that trend and not let it go to waste, because this is coming. This is going to be huge in Brazil, in India, and Indonesia, and everybody and everywhere else around the world. So you have to anticipate it and be ready for that.
All right. So, Sergey, I thank you for your time. And I also thank our listeners for their time. I hope they had fun. And because this was a very informative episode. So if you have some parting words that you would like to maybe...
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Zoltan. It's been a pleasure talking to you. If you want to know more about our solution, just go to epom.com. I'll be there to help you out as your account manager there. And other than that, just best of luck to everybody. This is a very tricky market to navigate, but it's definitely fulfilling. Once you know what you're doing, once you get everything right, it's the best job on the planet.
All right. So thank you. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.